glad that you are watching us on the county's television on the news tonight. ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi wants President Uhuru Kenyatta to form a structured committee to take the final recommendations on the issues raised over the BBI report.
A small structured committee to take the final reactions.
This as the report continues to elicit mixed reactions across the political divide. The BBI committee is now headed to collecting 1 million signatures that will be presented to the electoral body IEBC for verification. We have the details here tonight. Also tonight, Madira lawmaker Rigathi Gachagua grilled for the second day by DCI detectives. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi, begins right now. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi is calling on President Uhuru Kenyatta to form a structured committee that will take final recommendations on the issues raised during the BBI report launch. Mudavadi says that there is a window for the presentation of the final submissions to be considered once Kenyans read and understand the report. This report has been prepared by Paul Kirobi but voiced by Nancy Kimuyu.
Just a day after the BBI report was launched, ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi is now calling on President Uhuru Kenyatta to form a structured committee to take the final recommendations on the issues raised over the BBI. Mudavadi says since the president says there is a window for the presentation of final submissions to be considered once Kenyans read and understand the report by the steering committee.
A small structured committee to take the final reactions kutoka kwa wananchi ambao hawakupata nafasi, alafu that structured team kidogo ateue, isiwe mambo ya siasa mingi huko.
He says this will be key for the last views to be accommodated before legislations begin to be formulated and implemented ahead of a possibility of having a referendum next year.
Kwa hayo maneno ya BBI, sasa Kungu ndugu yangu patron akisimama urais kama independent na kuwe number 2 kwa Rotere ambaye ameshinda presidency. Unajua hiyo sheria inasema yule amekuwa number 2 ndio anakuwa leader of the official opposition. Sasa kama amepita kama independent, ako peke yake.
The ANC leader, who was meeting members of the Kenya National Council of Elders under the leadership of their patron Captain Kongo Moigai and Chairman Fares Ruteri, the Council of Elders also met Deputy President William Ruto and supported the proposals raised by Ruto on the BBI report.
Kitu mnaendesha ya BBI, tunataka kuona nyinyi wote mkiwa kwa hiyo jukwaa. Wewe si ulitoa maoni yako? Si ulitoa? Na watu wakasikia. Na unasemanga wacha watu wasikie wafanye nini? Waamue. Mkae kwa nini moja. Wewe toa yako, mwingine atoe yake, Tinga aseme yake, lakini watu wasirushiane maneno. Msiite watu na majina, atoe Kongo ulifanya, wewe hii ulifanya. Na hata tunaenda kuona huyo Tinga. Hata yeye tumwambie apoeshe hiyo rege yake.
During the ranching uko Kisii, ulisema iwe robustiki. Tureto pamoja, tukonverse. Maana vile unajua si vile najua. Vile unaangalia mambo si vile naangalia. Maana ile swara ulileta jana, hata mimi niliangalia nikaona tumerudi pale tulikuwa. Hakuna tofauti.
Council of Elders say they will meet other leaders to discuss the report.
Well, still on matters BBI, the report is headed to the next step, which will involve the collection of 1 million signatures, which will be presented to the electoral body IEBC. Part of the report will be implemented by Parliament, the Executive, and through a referendum. But what are the proposals that will require a referendum? Josh Onsare tells us more.
After the Building Bridges initiative was launched, the report is now headed to the collection of 1 million signatures required for a referendum. The signatures will be presented to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) for verification. The draft bill will then be sent to all the 47 counties' assemblies. However, the report has proposed the implementation levels, pointing out the recommendations that will require a referendum. Insiders say that the proponent of the report are in support of the next process after abandoning an earlier option to seek most of the amendments through Article 256, which would have seen many amendments through Parliament. The report has outlined at least 58 articles to be amended under the 2010 Constitution. Out of the 58, 10 will require referendum. They include the term of the president, the structure of the devolved units, sovereignty of the people, supremacy of the constitution, Kenyan territories, principles of governance, Bill of Rights under Article 31, independence of the judiciary under Article 172, as well as the independence of other commissions. Parliament will also be tasked to amend bills such as Prompt Payment Bills, Public Finance Bill of 2020, which consists of Public Finance Management Act of 2012, Public Procurement Act of 2015, Public Audit Act of 2015, the Control of Budget Act of 2016, and Higher Education Loans Board Act of 1995. The legislature will also be tasked to amend the Micro and Small Enterprises Bill of 2020. Ethics and Integrity Laws of 2020, Election Laws Amendment Bill of 2020, which will focus on the following statutes: the Election Act of 2011, Political Parties Act 2011, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act of 2011, the Election Campaign Financing Act 2013, the Election Offences Act 2016. Others include the Public Participation Bill 2020, which entails collecting 1 million signatures to pass a bill, and Health Bill, which will focus on training of healthcare workers, recruiting of healthcare workers, welfare, career development and schemes of service for healthcare workers, intercounty and intercounty transfer of healthcare workers, transfer of health workers from one level of government to the other, and national distribution of highly skilled healthcare workers.
I believe we had delivered on about all the legislation that was required to actualize the Constitution. So we can do it. But now, time is different. We are meeting limited because of COVID, but we believe we are up to the task. And I want to assure the Kenyan people, on behalf of these members of Parliament, that what has been placed on our hands, we are equal to the task.
The executive arm of government will formulate policy on the country unity and diversity, constitutional foundation of policy, right to education, health and wellness, balancing environmental conservation, economic development, our productivity and shared prosperity, justice, safety and security. However, the major hurdle will be to ensure that the bill is passed by at least 24 county assemblies before it heads to Parliament.
So we just want us to begin a new phase of our political life. And this document, we support it. I ask those who have issues, we'll get around to look at it properly. But may God help Kenya. Never again shall we have conflicts associated with elections. God bless Kenya.
A similar attempt by the Third Way Alliance failed after more than half the county assemblies rejected the Punguza Mzigo bill. Josh Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the Third Way Alliance party has threatened to compete with the BBI report for a possible referendum if its Punguza Mizigo proposals are not included in the report. This comes as ODM party lashed out at Deputy President William Ruto for what they term as excluding himself out of the BBI discussions. Musa Salah has more.
While drumming up support for the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report, ODM party has called out Deputy President William Ruto for playing outsider while he has been given a chance to participate in the formation of the BBI report. The party has also said that it will fully support the BBI report.
If you wanted to have a debate on what young people really think and what they really want from you as a deputy president, come and have a discussion with us. Instead of forcing us to take what you think is good for us, let us tell you what we need.
Laikipia Women Representative Kate Waruguru has also slammed DP Ruto for his aggressiveness in succeeding President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying that the Mount Kenya region may pull out of the 2017 promise they made to Ruto in succeeding Kenyatta in 2022.
Amemchukua amemfanya deputy president miaka mara mbili. Na saa hii Uhuru Kenyatta ati watu kwa mlima wanamdharau, wanaona yeye ni mtu bure sana ati kwa sababu alisema yangu 10 na yule mwingine 10. Agano ziko lakini agano uvunjwa.
Meanwhile, Third Way Alliance party has said that it will remain bipartisan in the BBI national debate, threatening to compete with the BBI report for a referendum if the party's proposals in the defunct Punguza Mzigo initiative are not included in the report.
Na tunasema kwa wale ambao tunaamini kama chama hawajakuwa katika ile ripoti, sisi kama wanachama tutayasukuma.
Elsewhere, the National Youth Council has drummed up support for the BBI report, while at the same time faulting the report for removing the nominated positions in both the National Assembly and the Senate. The youths also said that the report has given and taken from them all at the same time.
And we thank you, the BBI Steering Committee, for listening to our proposals. But the BBI has given with one hand and taken with another hand. We had 4 assured nomination positions, 2 in Senate and 2 in the National Assembly. At the very minimum, those should remain.
They further added that all political parties should nominate youths to contest for political positions to compensate for their loss.
And so we had requested that when they're doing that, every 5th name, if we do the party list, every 5th name should be a young person. Whether they are a PWD, or they are from Wajir, or they are from a minority or marginalized, they be a young person.
The council's leaders added that the country loses billions of shillings in recovering the economy after every election following electoral disputes, further insisting that the BBI report will solve this and save the country a lot of money.
And for us as young people who pay the price for the economic strife that plagues our electoral process every 2 years surrounding an election, where we lose more than 300 billion shillings, 3% of our GDP. For us, there is no amount of money that we can pay that is equal to that 300 billion that we lose.
The BBI report has attracted a lot of mixed reactions in the country. Musa Salah, TV47.
Thank you, Musa Salah, for that report. And moving on, Madira MP Rigathi Gachagua was for a second consecutive day grilled by DCI detectives at the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road in Nairobi over corruption allegations amounting to 12.5 billion shillings. Gachagua has, however, insisted that his woes are politically instigated because of his stand ahead of the 2022 succession politics. David Mudoka has the details.
Arriving shortly past 3:30 p.m. Tuesday afternoon at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters along Kiambu Road in Nairobi, Madira legislator Rigathi Gachagua was for a second day running grilled by DCI detectives probing fraud allegations against him. Gachagua is accused of embezzling up to 12.5 billion shillings by fraudulently securing tenders using 22 companies where he is the sole beneficiary through proxies. The 22 companies are alleged to have been in business with 5 counties, several government parastatals, including the National Irrigation Board and the Mathira Constituency Development Fund CDF for the past 7 years. Among the 5 counties is Kwale County, in which Enkatar Diagnostic Limited, a company linked to the MP, was allegedly awarded a 12.7 million shillings tender to supply an incinerator from Sambweni Sub-County Hospital during the 2013-2014 financial year. Another county in which Gachagua linked Enkatar Diagnostic Limited was in business with is Bungoma County, where the very company is said to have been awarded a 123 million shillings tender to supply, deliver, install, train and maintain medical equipment on a 2-year contract. Nyeri County is yet another county in which Rapid Medical Supplies Limited, another company linked to Gachagua, is alleged to have been in business with, this time for the supply, delivery, installation and commissioning of 10 dialysis machines, a water treatment plant and 10 complete dialysis kits, following the awarding of a tender worth 27 million shillings. Kisii County follows, in which Enkatar Diagnostics Limited was yet again allegedly awarded a tender valued at 52 million shillings, despite being the lowest responsive bidder to supply, install and commission a CT scanner, beating 9 other bidders. But despite Gachagua being at the eye of the storm, the MP insists that his woes are politically instigated. Gachagua's bank accounts have since been frozen as detectives seek to unearth the source of the funds that have passed through his accounts. David Muthoka, TV47, Nairobi.
You're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Your voice matters, your opinion counts. Keep talking to us. The hashtag to use is TV47 News. Send us a message on 22047. Leave us a comment on all our social media platforms, on Twitter and on Facebook. Let me sample some. Robin Onyando says, nawakilisha nikiwa Githurai 44. Margaret Mucheu says, watching from Muranga Town. Henry Osembo says, tuned from Ruben. Milka Damaris says, watching TV47. On 22047, Nixon says, BBI or not, all I have been longing for is passable roads in my village, fully functioning dispensaries and good schools. Keep talking to us. Time for us to take a short break. We still have a lot lined up for you. We'll be back with more after this break. Stay tuned.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Nani alisema mimi si mtoto wa Mungu? Mimi nakwambia matajiri wanakuanga wametarau watu sana. Mtos, habari asubuhi?
Nzuri sana.
Unacho unaongea na milionia sahi. Mimi nimekuja tu kukuambia sifanye tena hii kazi yenyu ya nyumba. Mnaonanga ni kama mnanisaidia sana kunigreet kama Sulef. Awinja, fanya. Awinja, chukua awi.
Okay.
Mimi sahi ni milionia pwani.
Kopi chai kwanza.
Chai ya nini?
Chai.
Nani anakuserve chai? Nani anakufanyia kazi? In fact hata naweza kukuandika kazi sasa hivi ukitaka. Equity wamenipikia. Wakaniambia you are the winner of 10 million Kenya shillings. Kitu tunataka tu kwako, tutumie PIN number yako, IT number yako na account number yako. Tunakufanyia nini? Tunakuwekea 10 million kwa account.
So washaweka.
Hawachaweka, sinataka kuwatumia hizo details.
Unaongea hivi vyote ni kama wameweka.
Wanaenda kuweka, kwani nachukua mtakani, nataka tu nikitoka hapa nje hata nishaota taxi.
Wacha nione namba wamekupigia nayo.
Ndio hiyo.
Hii namba wamekupigia nayo.
Ndio hiyo.
Confirm, is this 0763 000.
Si hiyo, lakini sio wamenipikia kutoka headquarter ya Equity.
Good. Kenye unafanya, you are dealing with wakora. Wao ni wakora una deal nao. Go back, nilete chai.
Unachuache ni wakora.
The only number Equity unaweza kupigia nayo ni 0763 000 000. Sawa? Asante sana. Rudisha hizo vitu tafadhali. Uende sasa uwekee milioni ya ukweli chai.
Haina neno mtoto. Chai yako ungependa hata white au black. Ungetaka nikutengeze kuku ya mayai ya kienyeji.
Tengeneza sasa ya milionea sasa. Tengeneza chai ya milionea sasa. Milionea ukweli.
Haina shida mtoto.
Asante sana.
Asante.
Okay, asante.
Wewe, nitakuwa mkeni wa nani? Akisi ni epuka nimechiwekea haki.
And remember, Equity will only call you from one number, 0763 000 000.
Mtos.
Yes.
Chai kako tayari.
Asante.
Now you can always be sure it's Equity calling. When we call you, we will use only one number, 0763 000 000. Always be sure it is Equity calling.
Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Thank you for staying with us here on the county's television. Let's get far northeast, where the drought season in most part of the northern Kenya has begun, with Wajir being one of the counties hard hit by the drought's early stages. Most of the nomadic communities trek for long distance to find water for domestic use. Our reporter Isadin Haji has toured parts of the county greatly impacted by the drought and has filed the following report.
Forced to migrate for kilometers in search of water. Routinely nomadic, these communities trek through large semi-arid lands of Wajir with a common goal. The land is bare and the terrain is harsh. Above them is a scorching sun that eats up every vegetation and water. This man uses his motorbike to look for water in the closest village, which he says is miles away.
These 4 jerrycans of water are supposed to be used in 2 days. Everyone is supposed to conserve water and minimize wastage to sustain us in the 2 days.
In Elda's constituency, the drought is severe and water is scarce. Siad Ahmed says their only water source is dirty. Birds and animals have contaminated it with their excrement. A foul odor oozes from what is supposed to be the lifeline here.
Maji sina kunya hii tu. Tunakula na chakula hii. Sina kunya, napika na chai, tunapika na chakula. Kwa hivyo sina nyingine, chochote tunaweza bata. Kwa hivyo shida yetu ni mingi.
In a separate location, we met a well-wisher supporting a destitute village with water. Their water storage tank hasn't had water for some time now, but this could sustain them for at least a week.
This is the time to assist for the needy. This is a time to assist the people. It's a drought, and it's a time to respond to their needs.
It is believed that the severity of the drought could double in the near future if the area does not experience ample rainfall. This could jeopardize the survival of livestock and worse, risk the well-being of humans. This community's livelihood is shaken by the early stages of the drought that is already taking toll. They might be facing bigger challenges in the near future if the drought persists and interventions delayed.
If this crisis will continue, we will lose lives. There's no doubt. There is no doubt. As at now, we might not say their lives lost, but if we don't intervene the right time, it will be too late and we'll have lives lost.
The county government of Wajir has commissioned water trucks to help mitigate the drought at the sub-county level in the past week. Some of the villagers say help is yet to arrive.
We used to depend on a borehole that failed. We have not had water from it for the past 24 months. We live a life without leaders and proper leadership.
It is the hope of these pastoral communities to experience rainfall in the coming weeks. But whether the drought will end or not is as uncertain as life during a raging drought. For now, all they have is hope. Isaddin Haji, TV47, Eldas, Wajir County.
Elsewhere, learning institutions have been put on the spotlight after some recorded cases of COVID-19 in the third week of the second term. Some schools have been closed indefinitely after they reported cases of COVID-19. In the recent days, the number of COVID-19 infections has been on an upward trajectory in the country. Sharon Baranga has the details.
These are students at Eldas Secondary School in Wajir County. They are receiving face masks and sanitizers from well-wishers.
We had a problem in receiving these things. We have received already from the Ministry of Education, but that one was not enough for the students and also the teachers. But today we are very grateful and we have received enough for it to keep us to the end of the term.
The Form 4s that are in school now, none of them were able to pay the school fees. That means they cannot afford a mask or a sanitizer.
COVID-19 infections have been reported in a number of schools in the country, such as Tononoka Secondary School, Star of the Sea Secondary, Muumandu Secondary in Machakos, and Friends School Kamsinga. This week, Tononoka Secondary School lost their principal to COVID-19. At least 15 teachers in both Tononoka and Star of the Sea School are currently receiving treatment, while the rest are in quarantine. Meanwhile, the government stopped all plans to reopen schools for the other learners.
So let nobody attempt to be smart, to open schools for certain classes. Those classes that were not opened before must remain closed until the government advises otherwise.
In the recent days, the number of COVID-19 infections have been on the rise in the country. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Still on matters COVID-19, Mombasa County Assembly has closed down its offices today after 7 COVID-19 cases were reported. This as the total number of COVID-19 cases hit the 50,000 mark. Zainab Mohammed reports.
Mombasa County Assembly has closed down after 7 of its members were reported to have contracted COVID-19. The county being the second one to close its doors due to the eruption of COVID-19 cases. Just last week, Uasin Gishu County Assembly was shut down for 2 weeks after the death of Huruma Ward MCA Peter Kiiru. Elsewhere, clinical officers in the country want the government to ban all political and non-essential gatherings in order to manage the surging COVID-19 cases in the country. The clinical officers, led by KUSO Secretary General George Gidore, say most of the political gatherings flout COVID-19 containment measures, thereby endangering the lives of Kenyans.
Political and non-essential gathering be banned forthwith and with immediate effect to ensure that we can address the issues of the rising curve.
This is as the total number of COVID-19 cases rose to 50,833 cases after 836 more people tested positive for the virus. 403 people have recovered as 14 more people succumbed to the virus. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Elsewhere, as the People's Republic of Tanzania goes to the polls on Wednesday, chaos rocked the island of Zanzibar after protests erupted on allegations of rigging ahead of the polls. President John Magufuli is being accused of clamping down on human rights and freedom of the media as the country heads to the polls. Mwangi Maina reports.
The People's Democratic Republic of Tanzania, a member of the East African Community, is headed for the polls tomorrow to elect their 6th president. The race has attracted 15 contenders, the main candidates being the incumbent president John Pombe Magufuli and the fronted opposition candidate Tundu Lissu, Magufuli's longtime nemesis. Opposition party ACT Wazalendo claimed its candidate Maalim Seif Sharif Hamad was arrested as the island region of Zanzibar went to the polls today ahead of the mainland polls. Police have refuted claims that 3 people were killed but insist only 42 arrests have been made. Pombe Magufuli is seeking a re-election for a second term with promises of economic development. The African Union, through its chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat, has called for a peaceful election, asking all stakeholders to participate in the voting process peacefully and to refrain from any acts of violence. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report. You're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Time for us to take another short break. We will be back with more after this break. Stay tuned.
Mount Kenya University takes pride in being an academic giant with some of the best infrastructure, imparting knowledge to the best brains in the country and the region. Our members of faculty are keen to deliver market-driven programs in science and humanities with a keen focus on linkages with relevant organizations. We admit both self-sponsored and government-sponsored students under the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. Join us today, Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
My name is Bishop Mark Karaoke. Coronavirus is not a myth. It is a reality. It is upon every one of us to protect ourselves and to prevent the virus from spreading. All you need to do is to wash your hands often with soap. Sanitize yourself. Keep the social distance. Avoid crowded places. For more information, you call 719 and you will get the information from the experts. If you call me, I will tell you the Bible says, get born again. That's what I will tell you. Commercial Corona.
HomePoint Investments Limited introduces to you a new mega project named HomePoint Royal Gardens at Mwingi. The project is along Thika Garissa Highway. 50 by 100 plots go for 80,000 Kenya shillings and an acre is only 400,000 shillings. If you happen to be among the first 50 buyers, you will get 25% discount, which means you will end up buying at a price of 55,000 only. Booking is 20,000 only. The plots are in a good serenity, which favors various investments like rentals, residential homes, and also farming. Water and electricity are available. They are next to Chinese Gypsum Factory and Enzio Shopping Center. Site visit is every Wednesday and Saturday. For more information, call us on 0797 312151 or 0727 426015 or visit our offices at Twiru Town, Gitomba Plaza, 2nd floor, room number K6. HomePoint Investments Limited, your best investment partner.
When you get Showmax, you get instant access to full seasons of award-winning series and blockbuster movies.
It's amazing.
You get shows you won't find anywhere else, like Showmax Originals. You get awesome kids shows.
Freaking awesome.
Amazing dockies.
You literally cannot make this up.
And now, you also get world-class sport from Super Sport.
Everything's out of control.
All ready and waiting for you to watch online on your smartphone, tablet, desktop, or smart TV, wherever and whenever you like.
Whoa.
So what are you waiting for? Go to showmax.com to sign up. From football seasons to binge-worthy seasons, You'll get it all on Showmax. One platform, endless entertainment.
Tangu mwishoni mwa mwaka jana, homa ya virusi vya corona yaani COVID-19 imeibuka kuwa tisho kubwa la kiafya. Maambukizi ya homa hii yameenea ulimwenguni kote, wala hakuna aliye salama. Serikali kupitia idara ya afya imeweka mikakati, miongoni mwao ikiwa uchunguzi wa homa ya corona miongoni mwa wasafiri katika mipaka yake yote kote nchini.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
Inatisha kufikiri kukohoa tu kidogo kwa mazingira haya unaweza sababisha mlipuko wa homa hii usio na kifani. Ili kuzuia haya, serikali imeweka mikakati tosha kuhakikisha usalama wa Kenya wote.
The facility has all the equipments you need from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
Hata hivyo, wewe pia unalo jukumu katika kusaidia kuzuia kuenea kwa maambukizi.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Always ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
Sisi kama taifa tumepata kukumbana na changamoto nyingi na kali maishani, na kila wakati tumeibuka washindi. Hii homa ya COVID-19 hata kama inatisha, si tofauti nazo. Komesha corona, zingatia maagizo kutoka Wizara ya Afya. Nawa mikono jinsi navyo.
Mambo vipi? Kwa mara nyingine tena tumekutana na leo tuko maeneo ya Ahero. Kumekuwa kidogo na itilafu sema ambapo tunaenda kidogo kumefurika na maji. Kwa hivyo ina maana kwamba lazima tutafute gari ndogo ili tushuke kule chini tusaidie watu. Ni kwa hisani ya Lotto Foundation na tunahakikisha kwamba tunakufikia wewe Mkenya ili kukusaidia angalau wakati huu mgumu wa COVID-19. Watu pale walipata changamoto kwa sababu kumefurika.
Previously, for the last 50 years, we have been only affected by the flood from River Nyando. Now, it has taken, the same thing is repeated this time round. The kind of flood we are experiencing is from Lake Victoria, and it will take time to recede and go back.
Wale family wamekuwa displaced is nearly more than 1,000 per household.
Erokamano Lotto Foundation kuom kelonwa chiemo dichieng' ma kawuono. Nyasaye mondo gwedhu. Erokamano Lotto Foundation.
May God give you the strength, ability and the wisdom to continue doing the good work, reaching out to the people who are greatly in need. Lotto wagonu erokamano uduogu kendo.
Asante Lotto Foundation.
On behalf of Rotary Club of Kisumu and Rotarians, we say thank you to Lotto Foundation.
President. Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight. Let's get to more news, and it was an auspicious moment for a group of street family members and residents of Uasin Gishu at the Nandi Park Gardens in Eldoret town to have a taste of quote-unquote president's cake to celebrate President Uhuru Kenyatta's 59th birthday. Calvin Chitwa caught up with them and has filed the following report.
In solidarity with the president, who was miles away from them, they sang joyfully to wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. How old are you? 59 years old.
The celebration was organized by Michael Kirwa, who says he felt the need to reach out to the needy who can't meet the head of state and celebrate.
Kila mara inakuanga national, wanasherehekea kule juu na sisi watu wa chini tupate keki. Na nimeamua kupitia uwezo wangu ile kidogo tuweze nisherehekea na vijana, street families, niona hata wamefurahia ile uongozi na kusherehekea birthday ya kuzaliwa ya President wetu Uhuru Kenyatta.
The venue is known to be for job seekers, street urchins and lovebirds. They also prepared a birthday gift for President Kenyatta, which they hope will reach him through the County Commissioner Stephen Kihara.
Ninaomba Wakenya kwa ujumla tujitolee tuweze hata kulisha wale ambao hawana chakula.
Furahia sana kusherehekea birthday ya Uhuru. Sijaisherehekea tangu nizaliwe. Sijaikula keki yake. Nimefurahi sana.
Nasema nimefurahia kwa keki ya Uhuru kama street boy. Mimi ni street boy, nafanya kazi ya kusukuma trolley.
For them, the cake was significant and will be used to pass messages of care for the needy, especially the vulnerable and those struggling to fend for themselves.
Ningependa tu tafutie employment juu uchumi imekuwa ngumu sana, pia kazi imekuwa hard kupata.
They also appealed to farmers within the county who have started harvesting to remember the less fortunate in the society.
Kama tungepata watu wengine vile vile wanaweza tuone chakula kwa watu, hii tutachanga na njaa, tutamaliza kwa taifa letu la Kenya.
Calvin Chitwa, TV47, was in Gishu County.
Well, a cake for the president indeed. Moving on. As the world commemorates Breast Cancer Awareness Month, various groups have stood out to create awareness of the cancer disease. During the launch of a new cancer clinic in Laikipia County, the County First Ladies Association has insisted on the need for continuous awareness to understand and identify the cancer symptoms.
The County First Ladies Association gathered in Laikipia County as they launched a new cancer clinic dubbed Pink Room. Led by Kisumu County First Lady Dorothy Nyong'o, awareness campaigns for cancer have been underway this month to equip Kenyans with knowledge to understand and identify the symptoms of various cancers in the body.
We have been focusing on creating awareness to create the demand from the bottom up. Just so that people know how to look out for symptoms, early symptoms of cancer, what to do to avoid getting cancer, because some cancers are caused by lifestyle.
Currently, the team has gone round the country and reached out to 25 counties to create awareness of the cancer disease and has conducted cancer screening to 27,000 Kenyans.
We also started going around the country to screen for cancer because we realized that early detection saves lives. So we've been screening. Now we've gone into 25 counties and screened about 27,000 people.
Laikipia Governor Ndiritu Muriithi expressed the need for more interventions to fight cancer similar to those dedicated to the COVID-19 pandemic.
If you look at the COVID pandemic and the number of deaths resulting from this disease, comparative or comparing to what has happened with cancer, you can see that our national reaction and our effort should be commensurate. In the same way, we have been putting a lot of effort to slow down the COVID, we should be doing the same to slow down cancer.
Close to 48,000 new cancer cases of various kinds are reported annually in the country. Nanok Lauren, TV47.
U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Kyle Makata, has lauded Kenyan companies for innovativeness, saying Kenya has a potential of becoming self-reliant economically due to the availability of natural resources and the creativity of its people that has not been explored. Speaking during a tour to River Textile Company in Eldoret, Kyle alluded that the free trade between Kenya and the United States will be improved in order to boost productivity of local manufacturing companies and improving the country economically.
What Kenya can do is important because now you've got other people that want that same shirt, and that's a good thing. What we witnessed today is the real what Kenya has to succeed. And I always say this, that Kenya has some of the greatest resources in the world. I mean, and there's no reason that Kenya cannot be self-reliant. And I think, and I say USA Marafiki because I believe that the United States is going to prove to be the best friend that Kenya ever had. And that means that we're going to walk together down this pathway to self-reliance, because that's what a friend deserves. If you're a friend, you respect them, and you respect what they can do.
Let's get to some international but regional news. And the Dutch Police International Crimes Team has arrested a 71-year-old genocide suspect, of whom reports from Netherlands indicate is Joseph Mugenzi. Diana Iriza reports from Kigali, Rwanda.
Now, according to the Dutch Public Prosecution Service, the suspect, that is Joseph Mugenzi, was claimed to be a former bank clerk and a pharmacy owner in 1994, and he has been arrested today. The government of Rwanda has requested for the extradition of this suspect for the crimes that he committed during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Mugenzi was tried and convicted in absentia by a Gachagua court for crimes of the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi. He is, however, eligible for retrial should he be extradited to Rwanda. We spoke to the spokesperson of the National Public Prosecution Authority in Rwanda, Mr. Faustin Kusi, to let us know what the arrest of this suspect means to Rwandans.
He's being charged of genocide, murder and extermination as crimes against humanity, conspiracy to commit genocide, and conspiracy to commit genocide, and the public incitement to commit genocide. So we issued an arrest warrant in 2013 and made an extradition request in 2015. So based on that request, based on those charges I've just mentioned, that's why he is today arrested, and we hope and expect that he will be extradited to Rwanda to be tried with our courts.
Now, the suspect, Joseph Mugenzi, has lived in the Netherlands ever since the year 2000, and he is the leader of the FDU Inyigi, a political group that is unregistered and that is also known to openly deny the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi. Diana Iriza, Kigali, Rwanda.
Thank you, our Kigali-based reporter Diana Iriza, for that report. You're watching the county's television, TV47 News Tonight, with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Keep talking to us. The hashtag to use is TV47 News. Gilbert Onyonche says, watching from Mutwapa. Edwin Tyra says, tuned. Protas says, watching all the way from Lamu. Anderson Mugendi says, watching from Meru County. John Otieno says, watching TV47. Time for us to take another short break. We'll be back with sports news after this break.
Looking for the smoothest writing pen with an excellent grip and long-lasting